Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're just going to give everyone a couple more minutes to join in, and then we're going to get started around 3:02 p.m. Hi, for those of you that are just coming in, we're just giving everyone another minute or two to join in, and we're going to get started. Okay, we are going to get started. So thank you everyone for joining. We're really excited to have you on this webinar. And we're here today to talk about Pinterest shopping. And this is going to be co-hosted by both Pinterest and Kenchu. I'm Adam Russack. I'm the social partnerships lead at Kenchu. And I'm joined by two of the brightest minds in the industry today, Mansi Demeti, who's the product marketing manager at Pinterest on the shopping product, and Chrissy Kupak, who's our senior director of in-market social product. So if you guys have questions, please put them in the questions field in the GoToWebinar software. We're going to save about 15 to 20 minutes at the end for your questions. With that, I'm going to kick it over to Mansi to walk you through the values of Pinterest shopping.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Adam. Hi, everyone. My name is Mansi, and I am really excited to talk to you today about the shopping opportunity on Pinterest. Here at Pinterest, our shopping team's mission is to pair you, the advertiser, with people who are going to love your products. And there are a few reasons we believe we can do a really great job at just doing that. For one thing, we really do believe that inspiration is very core to Pinterest. We hear from pinners directly all the time that they're coming to our platform to be inspired, whether it's to discover new ideas for meal planning for their week, or to discover that perfect outfit that they want to wear to a conference they've been waiting for a long time, or whether it's to plan a wedding or to decorate a new house that they've just purchased. They're coming to the platform to discover new ideas and be inspired. And when you think about it, inspiration has always been really core to retail as well. If we go back in time a little bit before the age of the internet, shopping was always such an experience. It was something that you planned for, and sometimes you would grab your whole family, or maybe you would grab some friends and head over to the mall or maybe an outlet store and spend an entire day, make a whole day trip out of it. You may have some items that you had looked at in a catalog before, and you wanted to go into these physical stores to touch it, feel the items, try it on before making a purchase. Maybe you were going there just for window shopping, just going in and out of shops, kind of just enjoying yourself. Maybe you saw something from a distance and immediately was like, that is the thing that I want to buy, and you would go in there and make a purchase. Whatever it was this kind of journey. Introduction of the internet made it a little bit about convenience for a little while. E-commerce really made it about what is the best thing that I can buy with the best reviews as quickly as possible, have it delivered to my door for the cheapest price. We're seeing that with the introduction of more and more images on the web, and of course, available in the palm of your hands through mobile, we're starting to see people lean back a little bit more into that experiential shopping experience once again. We definitely see this to be true on Pinterest. We find that people on Pinterest come and sometimes have that immediate spark and want to buy a product right away. Other times they are definitely excited, but they want to explore the various possibilities and see what other items might be out there that are similar. Sometimes pinners are making trade-offs and comparing what it is they want to purchase and just doing their proper due diligence before buying. And other times there might be obstacles that come up in their way that prevent them from buying that product immediately, but they save it for later and come back to it when they're ready to make that purchase. Wherever they are in this shopping journey, which has so many touch points, we want to make it possible to pivot the pinner into a perfect shopping experience when they are ready to buy. The traditional funnel of just you see something, you're aware of the brand, and then you decide to buy is a little bit more complex. And we recognize that and are trying our hardest to make it really easy to pivot that pinner into the buying experience as seamlessly as possible. So here we are at the end of the day, trying to connect that initial inspiration to the actual purchase itself or the action. We have over 2 billion monthly searches on Pinterest, and 97% of them are unbranded. This means that pinners are truly coming with an open mindset, ready to discover and be inspired. And if we can complete their journey by making it really easy for them to pivot into that purchasing experience, we've done our job in helping that pinner go all the way from inspiration to action. Our shopping strategy is focused on 3 pillars right here. Visual discovery is extremely important on our platform because it is a visual platform. All of the pins on our platform are image-based, and not only are they appealing visually to pinners, but they also allow pinners to search visually and further refine the results that they're looking at. So for example, a pinner might find a pin of a outfit that they really like, and then they may scroll up to see other outfits that are similar, visually similar, not just based on the words that they've searched. And then they might further refine that by going down what we like to call the Pinterest rabbit hole. We also love to stress the fact that we have taste-based personalization on our platform. This means if I search for shoes and Adam searches for shoes and any of you search for shoes, all of you will get different results. Unlike some platforms where the same few advertisers might always have the top slots, we add an extra layer of taste-based personalization to make sure that the visual results that you see are tailored to your personal tastes. And the last piece is the one that I'll be speaking the most time about, and that is shoppable products. We want to introduce products to Pinterest, to pinners that actually are actionable. This means pinners see tons and tons of pins every day when they're on the platform, but how many of those pins can they actually click on, get taken to a product page where they can actually take action and make a purchase? That third piece is the one that we are focusing on today. To make it possible, we introduced a tool in March this year called Catalogs. Catalogs is a feed ingestion tool that allows the advertisers to upload their entire product feeds onto our platform to mass generate product pins, but also organize those product pins into groups. Why have we introduced this product now? Well, there have been a few parallel work streams that have been in place for the past few years. There were a few different things that we needed to do to really bring the shopping experience to life on Pinterest. For one thing, as I mentioned before, people are using Pinterest for shopping inspiration. We know this. Pinners have made that loud and clear. We've heard time and time again that the most frustrating experience a pinner can have is when they find that perfect thing that they love. They're inspired, they've discovered it, and they're unable to make a purchase. That is frustrating to pinners. And that's one of the most common reasons why pinners would abandon Pinterest, is if they can't find that thing that they want to buy and actually buy it. What an incredible problem to have, and what a huge opportunity for us. The second thing is, now that we know pinners want to buy these products, how can we let them know that they can do this on our platform? How can we let them know that we are making this platform more shoppable than ever before? We've made several changes to make the shopping experience on Pinterest significantly better than it's been in the past. For one thing, we've introduced more up-to-date product data on product pins. We've introduced more and more places where pinners can discover those product pins, therefore pivoting them into that shopping experience. And we're also improving the curation by improving the relevancy of the pins that we do serve. That's the taste-based element that I talked about earlier. With these two parallel paths coming together, the missing piece was making it easier for you, the advertiser, to also get your products onto the platform, to start creating this ecosystem where pinners can find what they want to buy more easily, and you can find the pinners that will love your products. So like I said before, Catalogs is a feed ingestion tool that allows you to get your products on the platform at scale and organize those products. When you first go to catalogs.pinterest.com, you'll see a page that looks like this, that will be an intro to helping you get your products online. When you hit Get Started, you'll get taken to a data source page where you can upload your data source to Pinterest. Your data source is your product feed, and what you're going to give us is a file location to fetch your data source from regularly. As your data source gets processed, all of the products in the feed that you give us will get turned into product pins, which are special pins that have some special information based on the metadata that you send through to us, such as pricing information, availability information, whether your item is in stock, out of stock, and it'll have a product description and product title that will change dynamically every time you update your feed. You then get taken to a product group page where you can use some of the fields that you send through in the feed to filter these products that you've created into product groups. Once you've created all of your product groups, you see them in a view like this, listed out with the number of products associated in each product group on the side and the last update date listed out as well. Catalogs opens the doors for all of the shopping surfaces that we have on our platform. These shopping surfaces are the special experiences that can pivot you into a pinner into a shopping experience. So for example, maybe a pinner has seen a product and saved it before. We try to introduce more and more entry points for that pinner to discover more products. Maybe they see more ideas on their board and hit a shop button, for example, that takes them to an experience that has exclusively all product pins. They've indicated here that they want to shop, so we want to take that as a very, very strong intent signal and take them into an experience that exclusively has product pins because they've indicated that they're shopping. There are a number of these entry points sprinkled throughout the platform, on our search pages, on our home feed, and even on our related products areas. Again, like I said in the beginning, no matter where that pinner might be in their buying journey, we want to be able to pivot them into the perfect shopping experience when they're ready to buy. The biggest opportunity for advertisers, of course, is to promote your actual product groups to get increased distribution, but also have more sophisticated control levers to actually optimize your campaigns. We have a shopping ads product on Pinterest that allows you to promote your products at scale. What happens here is that you just promote the product groups that you've already organized your products into, and you don't need to add any additional targeting because we use that metadata to figure out where to serve your pins. All you need to apply is bids, budgets. You can optimize either for conversions or for clicks, and we'll serve your pins throughout the platform. You can layer audiences if you like. At this point, it becomes just like any other campaign. We also have a dynamic retargeting product that allows you to reach pinners who may have already viewed a product on your website in the past. And now you can pull that particular product pin from the feed and serve it to that pinner directly when they come to browse on Pinterest. This is a really exciting product that we launched earlier this year and has been extremely efficient for advertisers. So how do you get started? There are 5 steps to getting started, and I'm going to talk to you in a little bit of detail about the first 3. Chrissy from Kenshu is going to jump in for the last 2, but I'm going to give you a quick overview before I hand it over to her. Going back to step 1, the pre-processing prep is one of the most important steps that you can take before activating shopping on Pinterest. make sure that you have a business account registered on Pinterest with a verified domain. This domain is the same link that all of your products are going to ultimately link to. It's important that the domain has been verified and is registered on Pinterest to make sure that to indicate to us that you own all of the products that you're trying to sell. The second piece is to implement a Pinterest tag to specifically track key shopping event types. So if you've ever advertised with Pinterest in the past, you may already have a Pinterest tag implemented, and so you may think, I'm good to go, check that off. However, I do want to stress the key shopping event types. In order to take advantage of optimizing to conversions through shopping or of dynamic retargeting, we do require that you pass back certain specific fields to us so that we can effectively do that. For example, we require that you pass back a product ID for certain event types. We have more details on our requirements for the Pinterest tag towards the end of this deck that we'll send along. Also, you need to make sure that your data source is prepared to our specifications. We have the similar specifications for the product feed as other platforms, but there are a few nuances. To get more detailed information about what those nuances might be, we also have a link later on in this deck. However, just to highlight, for example, there might be certain fields that we require that are not required in other platforms, and there might also be certain format limitations. Once you're ready to process your data source, you can, sorry, I'm having trouble clicking. Once you're ready to process your data source, you will just add that location that I mentioned earlier onto our catalogs page, and the first processing will take 24 to 48 hours. Every subsequent processing will be 24 hours from that first ingestion. Now, a tip here, I mentioned that we'll have more detail later on about all of the various requirements for the feed, but one tip, for example, something to watch out for is that we do require the Google product category field in our feeds. It's required. It might not be on other platforms, but it'll really help out with relevancy on our system. So make sure that you have that. Once your feed has been ingested, you will be able to create product groups on catalogs itself. The filters that you can use to do this are actually fields within the feed itself. Some of them are required. 4 particular filters that you can use are the product category, which is directly linked to that Google product category field that we require. You can filter your products that way. Or if you have your own taxonomy that you use to organize your products, you can send that to us too through the product type field. You can also filter your products by brand, and you can also filter them by custom labels. We allow up to 5 custom labels, and those can be things like bestsellers or seasonal items that allow you to filter that way. Once you've created those product groups, you can go over to Kenshu if you're ready to promote. Anything about running campaigns will happen on the Kenshu side, and Chrissy will speak more to that in just a second. But the first thing that you'll want to do is put those product groups into a campaign and ad group structure. You'll apply the appropriate bids and budgets and be ready to promote. If you're optimizing to conversions, which we recommend if that is your ultimate goal, we recommend targeting all placements and devices. The less granular targeting is really important to help our algorithm learn how and where to best serve your products. Although it might seem more intuitive to get really, really granular, if your optimizing goal is for conversions, remember to leave the targeting really broad. And then the last piece is, of course, to measure the performance and optimize over time. And you can also do this through Kenshu. A tip here is that conversion campaigns don't need to be optimized very frequently. In fact, we actually recommend that you don't optimize any more than 2 to 3 times a week. All of these tips and more are documented either later on in this presentation or in much more detail on our Pinterest Help Center site. So I recommend you check those out so that you have all of the details as you start getting set up to run. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Chrissy to start talking about building campaigns.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monty. I really appreciate you coming and starting us off with all of that. And we're really excited here at Kenshu to be supporting shopping ads for Pinterest. We are rolling out our next feature in this product in about 2 weeks, actually. So I'm going to take you through a little bit of a preview of what that's going to look like, building campaigns for shopping ads in Pinterest. Hopefully. Sorry, folks, we have a little bit of a delay in the slides. Here we go. So as a quick reminder, we support a broad range of Pinterest campaign types, all of the placements and targeting objectives and ad formats. But for today, we're going to be focusing specifically on the shopping ads. So this one little tiny corner of what we provide when it comes to Pinterest support. When you go into Kenshu, into the Pinterest product, you'll click the new campaign or create a new campaign button. You'll select the Get Catalog Sales objective, which, as I mentioned, if you go through this flow today, you will not see this. You will see this in about 2 weeks when we roll out this feature. After you apply that objective, then you will select your channel account and which order line you want to use, as well as set any bid caps or, spend caps, either daily or lifetime. You'll also schedule your ad group and your select your budget and your budget type and what kind of optimization and delivery you want, whether it's standard or accelerated. With shopping ads, you can do the general targeting types that you can find in other kind of Pinterest campaigns, audiences, excluded audiences, locations, devices, age, gender. The exception is keywords and interests are not available for shopping ads because of the product is really driving that kind of match. Finally, you'll select your product groups, as Monty showed, would be created in the catalogs section. So you'll select a product group or multiple product groups from here. One thing to note is that you can have multiple product groups in a single ad group. So that can help with your optimization later on. Finally, you'll review the summary, edit the names if you would like, and then create the campaigns. They'll show up in your Kenshu campaigns grid. And once you sync them into Pinterest, then those specific product pins will be associated with these campaigns. The other thing that will happen is the automated URL builder. So any kind of parameters that you have set up will automatically be attached to those ads inside of Pinterest. So let's move on. You've launched your campaigns, now you want to manage them. What's the benefit of Kenshu? So first of all, we can optimize in bulk. You can edit your campaign statuses, your ad group statuses, your bids and budgets in bulk inside of the Kenshu UI. Not only that, but you can use automated actions. So you can set a rule-based automation to change those statuses, to change bids and budgets for specific criteria. So for example, if you want to increase budgets for product groups that have an ROI of over 9, then you can set that up as a rule inside of the Kenshu UI through an automated action. We also have something called dimensions and categories. This is essentially the capability to tag and create a tag tree of specific groupings of campaigns or ad groups or product groups. And not other, outside of shopping ads, you can also do this with keywords and ads. So if you had something that you wanted to roll up performance and automation by, then you can use dimensions and categories. An example of this is potentially business units. If you wanted to see all of the performance by a business units, then you can tag those campaigns or ad groups appropriately. Or maybe you want to see all of the campaigns that are being managed by a specific media buyer on your team. you can use a media buyer category so that each individual's performances can be rolled up. We also have custom metrics. So you can define either using channel data from Pinterest or your external data or any combination to create a custom metric for optimization, measurement, reporting, or even an automated action. So if you had a specific attribution model, for example, you only wanted to take into account 50% of a view plus 100% of an engagement, in order to optimize towards, you can create that custom metric directly into the Kensho UI and utilize that for your campaign management. Along with having that true north, we also, if you're a Kensho client, you know that we have a lot of integrations with analytics and attribution providers, allowing you to aggregate that data inside of the Kensho UI and use it for optimization and reporting. So you have your real true north data inside of the platform. When it comes to reporting, we have quite a wide variety of customizable report templates. For shopping, for example, you can use the product group fusion report and see performance on a product group level for Pinterest alongside of Google and Bing and what other shopping campaigns that you have running through Kensho. There's a lot of options when it comes to customizing these reports, whether it's a 180-day look back window, we're just looking at yesterday, whether you want to summarize your data at a high level and a monthly level, or be granular and look on the day. There's any kind of metrics that you can pull into the Kensho UI, then you can also pull into these reports for sending it out to yourself or to your reporting tool. Speaking of, you can also schedule these reports to run as often as you wish to a predefined location. So whether that's sending it to an email address or sending it to an FTP, an Amazon S3 bucket, or to Google data storage, you can send that directly from the Kensho platform. All right, before we start taking some questions, which I'll just remind you, if you would like to ask a question, we'll have some time here in a minute. So just enter those into the questions area of the GoToWebinar. But before we do that, we just wanted to leave you with a few tips when it comes to setting up your shopping ads campaigns. First of all, structure those campaigns by the product category. So when you're looking on the campaign level, it's easier for you to optimize, to move budgets, to think strategically about how you're promoting those categories. So you can use, for example, your website navigation to inspire what that campaign structure could look like. Also, as Monty said, you don't want to get too granular. If there's too many campaigns, then or ad groups, you're going to spread out your budgets and it's going to impact delivery. So while your structure might be men's apparel versus women's apparel, that makes a lot of sense. You don't necessarily want to drill all the way down to women's sandals versus women's boots. That's going to really impact the volume of ad groups that you have and spread the program too thin. When you first launch, don't go crazy with the negative keywords. Pinterest should be treated like its own channel. It operates very differently than Google and Bing, so you don't want to necessarily take your historical knowledge of negative keywords in those search channels and bring them over into Pinterest. Instead, launch a little bit more broadly, and then as you're running your Pinterest shopping ads campaigns, you'll start to see what kind of negatives should be added to improve the optimization specifically for Pinterest. The Pinterest user is in a different mindset than the Google user, and what they're searching for is going to come across differently in the search terms. Also, as I mentioned before, you can use multiple product groups in one ad group. And since the budget lives on the ad group level, then grouping those kinds of products together can help you with optimization levers. So if the audiences or budgets or bids on the ad group level, but then you can also see the product performance on the product group level. Over time, then, part of your optimization strategy should be to break out high-performing product groups into their own ad group, potentially campaign, so that you can better emphasize those product groups and put additional budget behind them. Here are some additional resources that will be sent out to you after the conclusion of this session. These are some links that can go into offline, excuse me, into other guides, and will help with answering any other questions. But in the meantime, since we have some time today, we would like to take this opportunity to answer some of your questions. So Monty, this first one is for you. Can you use an existing Google product feed with Pinterest?
Yeah, great question. Our product feed that we accept is very similar to the Google and Facebook product feed requirements. So you could take a Google product feed that you already have and prepare it for Pinterest. There are a few tweaks that you might need to make depending on how your Google feed is formatted. Google is a little bit more lenient with the formatting and the fields that it accepts. We are not as lenient just yet. So there are a few requirements that we have that are a little bit harder than Google's requirements might be. We detail those on our help center item by item. As long as you have our required fields, everything else is extra, and you can leave that in your existing Google feed as is, and we'll still take it in.
Great, thank you. The second question here, for breaking out product groups, are you able to create reports based off of performance of attributes in your catalog? So please clarify if I'm missing the question, but for the first release and our launch of shopping ads creation at the end of this month, the product group level is where all of the performance will be rolled up inside of the Kenshu UI. So we will not, at least for now, have product level or attribute level performance data inside of Kenshu. It will be rolled up on that product group level. Mansi, do you have any insight into if that's available inside of the Pinterest UI to get further granularity for product performance?
Yeah, we also have product group level reporting. We do have one additional report that is more granular on Pinterest, which is at the item level, but we still don't have the ability to see it by attribute or individual product. The item level is pretty extensive because it would be every unique line item that you send through in the feed essentially. So you can still see reporting that way and maybe roll it up on your own end with that information.
Great questions, guys. We'll just give a couple more minutes for questions, and then we will conclude if we don't have any further questions.
Okay, it seems like that's the end of the questions that you guys have. So I'd like to thank you all very much for joining. I hope this was an informative session. As Chrissy and Mansi mentioned, we'll be sharing materials with you guys, so keep a lookout for the follow-up emails. And then please talk to your Kenshu CS team and your Pinterest team if you're interested and want to get started. As Chrissy mentioned, the Kenchu support for this, full support, will be out in 2 weeks. So you can get started by uploading your catalog. In the meantime, if you want to get started in Kenchu, you could create campaigns in Pinterest and download them to Kenchu. But as you saw, it takes a few days to get your catalog set up. So pretty likely by the time you're through that process, we'll be ready for campaign creation in Kenchu. So send along any additional questions to your CS team as they come along, and we'll make sure we get them answered, and take a look out for our follow-up emails. Thank you again for joining.